Hello everyone, welcome in, welcome in. I was having issues with Saribot, which has apparently decided it's just not going to show up today. I guess it's taking the day off. I don't know. So yeah, I guess it's just going to be me trying to ban the follow bots as they pop up while I'm doing horrendous voice acting. Woohoo! Sounds like a great time to me. Yeah, let's get started. Last time we left off last week, last Tuesday, we were about to go to trial, and Phoenix had fallen off of a bridge that was on fire, and we decided, you know what, we'll step up and be the defense attorney that Iris needs. I still don't think she's Iris. I still fully believe that that is Dahlia. Why else would she look like Dahlia? So, unless this is one of those like Delulu things where they didn't look like that the whole time, or she's a twin, I mean, that's Dahlia. I'm saying it's Dahlia. I'm calling it now. Do. This is my favorite thing. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, let's see. Let me see. Where is my microphone? Because I usually like to increase my microphone for these episodes and lower the game volume as best I can so that the game doesn't talk over me, especially if I have a voice that is more quiet than others. Excuse me.
Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me?
Apparently, he isn't even aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed.
I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing.
Worry not, and in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him.
Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today?
No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand.
Sister Bikini.
She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. Oh my. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise, correct?
That is correct. It wasn't me.
Very well. Very well then.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes.
You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed.
Don't worry, I've made the necessary arrangements.
I see.
Iris, it is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people and to believe until the bitter end. That's what my friend once told me.
Mr. Edgeworth?
I simply ask that you watch and decide for yourself, whether or not I am fit to do the task I have been entrusted.
Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands.
I still don't trust you. I don't trust her. I think Phoenix is blinded by his feelings for Dahlia. That's why he asked us to do this. I don't trust it. I don't trust it, chat. Oh, I remember this judge-ish, but I think we just gave him the same voice as the regular judge. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris, from the Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Apparently the prosecution isn't. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. Well, this was fast. Fast and easy. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. The court finds the defendant. No. Great. I don't have another voice lined up. Alright. Well, Francisca, Shoot. Because we normally use Edward's voice for Francisca, or at least we did last couple times. So how do I differentiate them? I guess I could revert Edgeworth to Phoenix's voice, which tends to be just my regular speaking voice, but I'm not sure. The prosecution stands ready. I guess I could give her a weird accent. And you are? Franziska von Karma, prosecuting protege. Von Karma, you say? Perchance, you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Yeah, actually, it's his daughter. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. We're just giving her the most random accent I can do. But Bob Ross came up. Yeah, totally a Bob Ross stream. Can't you tell? I'm currently painting an image with my accent. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edworth. Yes, Your Honor. I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. Miss Von Karma, do you have anything to say? Does she have anything to say? Is she gonna out us? Ooh. Ooh. Okay. There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutor's office. There isn't? But I'm sure. Once before, in this courtroom. Back! I told you, there is no such weakling. Well, what is that, a whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. A bailiff, remove that whip, I have no objection to the whip. Okay. You don't? The prosecution can wield a whip or drink 17 cups of coffee. Oh, now he's calling out Godot, too. But there is still only one truth. That is what I stand to prove here today. She's ready for him. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today. But looking at you now, maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you slip through my fingers. Blah, blah, blah. Doing her accent behind his is hard. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. He's not sure about people acting bizarrely in his court. I'm not either, Your Honor. Wow. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Karma, please give an outline of the case. Of course. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author, Miss Elise Donim. Her body was found in the Azekura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. I don't know why she's French all of a sudden. The sword in this picture. Is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. It was very, matter of fact. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. What if you like it, Edgeworth? What if you really enjoy being a defense attorney and you just become a defense attorney forever? Did you ever consider that? But he's like, absolutely not. First and last. Oh. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Oh, what voice did we give Sister Bikini? Well, hold on there. I'm not sure if I care. I'm not sure about being not sure if I care for this at all. What? Witness, please stand up nice and straight. Bob Ross is not a bad alternative. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for our back pain-plagued witness. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. So is she sitting, or... Once again, your name and occupation, please. Oh, what voice did we give her? Oh, I don't remember what voice we gave her. She hasn't said anything in a while. Probably standing on it. That's what I was gonna assume, but then he said our back pain plagued witness. So I thought maybe she was like hunched down. She's like hunched over, you know, and they like gave her a box, so now she's like sitting on the box. I don't know. It wasn't an old lady voice, but it was kind of an old lady voice. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hazakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. That's the voice she's getting now. I don't know. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. Come up with a new one. That's what we're doing. Doing it on the fly. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. Why? The courtroom is a garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave the sanctuary at once. She said, if you're gonna picture her in a bikini, get out. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist, let me tell you. I'm a sight to behold in summer. That's a lot of ha's. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crime. Witness, I hear that you saw the crime take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? They're really hammering home that he's Canadian. I'm not giving him a Canadian accent, because I don't know how to do that. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hazakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it. Looks like they're doing it for you. Exactly. They're just throwing in the occasional boots and A's. So it was simply a coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hazakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. You could say that? If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There is only one problem with these testimonies that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth? The little nun lady, exactly. Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. I think the judge knows. I think he knows for certain. He's like, that was a prosecutor. He was a little brat prosecutor. I remember him. And he's just gonna feel like deja vu over this whole case. I don't trust the little nun lady. I mean, she's pretty suspicious. We did step on her trying to get outside to find out what was going on, so... She was at the scene of the crime. That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but... Let's press everything. What is this inner temple? Well, see, conversing with the spirits is what we train people to do, right? She's a little sus. She is a little sus. We'll be the one asking the questions, madam. Asking you the questions, madam. In order to do that, a place strong in spiritual power is required. I missed that part, I think. So it was in the thing. So what happened was Phoenix went and laid down after Iris gave him the hood. And then he's heading back to his room. He hears a scream, runs outside, and ends up stepping on Bikini, who's laying in the snow, saying, oh, my back hurts, and that's why I'm laying in the snow. I fainted. And then he's like, oh my god, I gotta go get Maya. And then he goes, and the bridge is on fire, and he's like, I'm gonna risk it. And then he falls to his presumable icy grave, except that he survived with merely a cold and a couple of bruises. So, the indestructible Phoenix Wright, ladies and gentlemen. But he is hospital bound, so Miles Edgeworth has taken over. I guess that was a recap and spoilers all in one. You missed that. That's fair. That's okay. It was... I don't know if it was 1 episode ago or 2 episodes ago. I think it was the very beginning of last episode.
There's a small temple across Dusky Bridge called the Inner Temple. Acolytes must spend an entire night there to undergo intense training.
And how exactly do you help with this process?
It's all quite exacting. It can't be performed without a nun supervising.
Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. Blah, blah, blah. I can't do that accent very well. Came in last time, he was already at the burning bridge, so right after standing on her. Yeah, pretty much. Maybe I should give Von Karma the normal speaking voice. That might be easier on me. Like a tutor watching to make sure a spoiled child studies. Yeah, that might work. A tutor with a whip in your case? If that is the case, then why did you return to Hazakura Temple, where the murder took place? Look, she has a whip in the courtroom. Well, you see, she just does. And Edgeworth has allowed it, and the judge is like, I don't think I like this. And Edgeworth's like, it's fine, Your Honor. Just don't worry about it. So she's got it. Alright, we're gonna give Franziska Von Karma our normal speaking voice, because otherwise that's too many accents for me, I think. So we're just... somebody's gotta have my normal voice. Alright, Back likes to act up. Let's talk about it. Okay. I mean, she uses it to slap us in the face, as Phoenix Wright. So I don't know if she's gonna do that to Miles. Violently?
That's right. It's no laughing matter, especially in winter. I can't hold anything heavier than a knife and fork during the cold months. Just being alive is like strict training.
On the night of the murder, was this fabulous back of yours hurting again?
That's right. Raging like a bull in a pig pen. I almost fainted once or twice.
What did this lady do to her back that causes it to have such violent fits?
I just knew that unless I warmed it up, it was going to finally finish me off.
It was going to finally finish her off. Okay. Alright. You left Iris to help. With what?
What do you think? The Acolyte's training, of course. It was just past 10 p.m., so we were starting to enter into the training exercises proper.
Wasn't it your place to remain with the disciple?
Well, the job is simply to watch over the Acolyte so that they don't pass away.
Just to confirm this point again, this night, or that night, you met Iris in the Inner Temple, correct?
Yes, she's a gentle, honest girl. She's never once failed to follow my directions.
Interesting. Alright. So you returned to the Hazakura Temple in order to take a bath?
My back is to blame for everything. It's a do or be done in kind of world, after all.
How long were you in the bath for, if you don't mind me asking?
My, what a filthy little rogue you are. I know what's on your mind.
Oh my god. Not that honest since her name is actually Iris, right? That's definitely Dahlia.
I bet your next question is going to be, where exactly did you wash?
No, my god, please. Not interested. Miles Edgeworth is gay, stop. Okay, he's not canonically gay because it doesn't straight up say it. But he and Phoenix are definitely saddled with unnecessary feelings. So, I'm just saying. Oh no, please no.
This is why you have to watch the young ones.
What's she going on about? I was... Gah! Pathetic, Miles Edgeworth. I am gay and I love women, but no thank you. And the judge is even against him. The lowest of the low. Is there some sort of kick me sign stuck to the defense's bench? Yes.
Anyway, I couldn't afford to be away from my post for too long, you understand, so...
The crime took place in the courtyard, correct?
When you go from my room to the main hall, You have to take a winding hallway from which you can see the courtyard.
That's right. In other words, it was pure coincidence that the witness saw the crime taking place before her eyes. There was no complicated setup in this case. That certainly seems to be true. There is indeed only one problem with this testimony. If I can clearly point out what it is, then I can begin to quantify just how good this witness's memory and observation skills are. So I left Iris, but Iris was busy giving this to... I don't know. Because she said Iris was there, but Iris had to ring the bell. She had to do all kinds of stuff. So how do we prove that... Okay. Okay, Iris's testimony says she rang the lights out bell and then was in her room. So maybe that. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on their powers of observation and memory, after all. Wasn't she with the weird dude in the hut? No, but the weird dude was blackmailing her to come to the hut. Instead, she stayed in her room terrified because of the blackmail letter.
Well, 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 don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hazakura Temple.
Yeah, the head woman has been a person of interest before, so... Last time we faced off with the head woman that was over a temple, she set up the murder. She didn't commit the murder, but she definitely was a co-conspirator, so... In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights out bell, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all.
No, she said that.
A defendant or a witness? Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hazakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. It's true.
But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie.
She does indeed have honest eyes. No, she doesn't. Ah! All people lie. That is my belief. I don't know why I gave her an accent. We decided not to, and then I just straight up gave her an accent. All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie. Which means, we must call your memory into question.
Dear, dear, dear. You're older than me, and yet you want to play that game, do you?
Well, that isn't exactly what I...
My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter.
What? Then I suppose it's too early during this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show me a more decisive piece of evidence. Why are you not holding in her contempt, Your Honor? Right, for slapping you in the face with a whip. Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick. Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony. A hydrate already. Wow. Here we go. Cracking it fresh. Crack open a cold one with the bros. And let us return to the cross-examination. Alright. Alright. Ah, see? She said something new. It was, yeah. It's what I happen to have. So, there was an issue with the water in the city, like 2 weeks ago, and they basically turned off the water to my building like 3 days in a row. So, of course, I had to pick up bottled water, which, I mean, I drink bottled water anyway, but I had to pick up some, and so did everybody else that lived around me. And so instead of just regular, and yes, I do have empty bottles on my desk, instead of just regular, whatever I could put my hands on, Ozarka was like the only choice. So that's what I got. Alright, so Bikini says,
Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner.
which we know to be false because Iris showed up and gave Phoenix Wright her hood. So, that's a lie. That's a lie. Does the water in town there smell and taste like bleach too? It kind of did a little bit afterwards, but for the most part, it was not great. So, I'm not a big fan of most tap water in general, just because I can taste all the bits. So I tend to try to just use bottled water. I've tried things like Brita and off-brand Britas, but the taste that they leave also tends to bother me. I'm very picky when it comes to water because apparently I need a good alkaline balance or something. I don't know. Ozarka's not the best, but it gets the job done. I think if I had to pick, I'd probably end up drinking sparkling water. I'm bougie like that, I guess. Witness, let's get one thing straight. I'm not. No, just kidding. The defendant whom you claim to have met. She was wearing this demon-warding hood, correct? Texarkana is very much a bleach smell and scent. Ugh, it's terrible. And Atlanta straight up is brown tap water. That sounds about right.
Of course. That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know.
Wah! Wah! Wah!
Wait a minute.
She understands now. Hold it right there. Why do you have that? That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night. I always try to get spring water from hot springs every time I'm out there. Nice. Best water in the world. Sounds good to me. Before the lights out bell was rung. What? You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, then the Iris she saw should have been missing this very hood.
Well, well, well.
Oh, see, she's standing on him. She's standing on them. Okay. I'm not crazy. She's teeny tiny. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it. And yet, stoic. Told you. Yeah, she's standing on him. Crazy. Order in the court. Wow. Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you?
Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them.
I see, a stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh?
Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned.
Then this is quite strange. If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here. We've got to press this. I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt. Witness? Well, I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt. You must give every detail with precision.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this.
Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on your way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation. Alright, we still gotta find some inconsistencies. We can do this. After my bath.
I finished my bath around 11, and I thought I should return to the inner temple. And as I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and... Iris was... Oh, Mystic Elise! And with that sword of all things.
They keep calling her Mystic Elise.
Mystic Elise was lying in the corner room which faces out into the courtyard. Or was staying, sorry. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out her window.
Push out her window?
You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then I would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth in two in court. And me, seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that.
This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours? No, she has to use your full, precise name, because it's the most polite. That's how she shows respect, and then she whips you in the face. I thought I should return to the inner temple. How far is it from your room to the inner temple?
Let me think a moment. About 20 minutes on these stumps of mine. It's about 15 minutes to Dusky Bridge from Hazakura Temple. The inner temple is just beyond the bridge.
Still, you never made it back there that night, did you? Ow.
That's right. I was heading along the walkway towards the main hall.
Alright, what does this actually look like? That's what I need to see real quick. Where's the map? Oh, we don't get to know. Okay. I was gonna see if maybe it was gonna tell us, like, oh, here's this, and here's this, and here's the courtyard, but it doesn't tell me any of that. So. You say you heard a noise?
Thump, just like that.
That could only be the sound of the victim falling.
It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump, just like that.
That's the same noise.
But then, couldn't this noise you heard have been snow falling to the ground?
I never thought of that.
Of course.
Wahaha! Wahaha!
Ho 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 ho!
The next one to laugh gets a whipping.
Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and...
This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant. But some doubt remains in these claims.
Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to.
The murderer who stabbed the victim with a sword. Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can.
Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time.
Please, don't keep us in suspense.
Her hood!
Her hood?
That's right, it's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right?
That's convenient. That's convenient as heck, because she never once mentioned that Iris wasn't wearing the hood until we brought it up. They're in cahoots. They're in cahoots somehow. Ugh. Huh. You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth.
What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important?
It's probably important, but I don't want it to be. This may initially appear to put me at a disadvantage, but... I'll read that in a second because I'm getting some kind of notification from Seriebot. For some reason, Seriebot seems to be, like, down right now, and I don't know if that's because, like, the creators don't have it online or what's going on with it, but I got an alert on my other tab where I was keeping an eye on it, and ultimately it says nothing. unfortunately. I thought I was going to get some sort of something, but instead it says a whole lot of nothing. Ha, terrible. Okay. Alright. Sorry. I was. Alright. But I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like to see these new statements to be added to the testimony. Miles Edgeworth. If you want to hang yourself, you need only ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. I think I'm going for like a femme fatale with her.
Witness, add that statement to your testimony.
No problem. Now that you mention it, Iris didn't have her hood on. I don't know. Mods are here to pick up the slack. I'm not as fast as Siri, but I'm pretty quick. I believe in you. I think you can handle it just fine. So, alright, so... I don't know... Redeemed another hydrate? My goodness. Apparently, you're here to be quick about the bots, and Cube's here to be quick about hydrating me. Okay, so... I don't know what we have, because I've completely forgotten it. I'm just skipping through to this, this part, because he always says something at the end that kind of clues me into what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't feel like she is lying. This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the instant in which the defendant stabbed the victim. As per usual, that's fair. There are only two things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. But we're a prosecutor. Alright, let's see what we have real quick. Hang on. Alright, so we have the staff, for some reason. We have this, which has the victim's blood and the suspect's fingerprints. So she touched it at some point. A note to Iris. Okay. The weather report, which shows that there was lightning. Lightning struck Dusky Bridge around 10:45. So around 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. So if she got out of her bath at 11, it had been raging for 15 minutes. And then she screams, Phoenix runs out. Then she gets stepped on. She tells him to call the police. 15 minutes to get to the phone, I guess? I'm not sure. This is the magazine where she's got lots of makeup on. And of course we see Dahlia. A photo of Elise Donim. Loss of blood from stab in back. Body fell 10 feet after... Oh. Oh. It says that she fell after she was stabbed. So... It's this. She says the stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. That's impossible because of the autopsy report. Objection. Impressive logic. That's what I would like to say anyway. Oh, please do. My brain is something else, especially in winter. So she couldn't get stabbed in the courtyard, so Bikini couldn't have seen the stabbing. Exactly. However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report? The autopsy report strikes again. This happened to Phoenix, right? Because Miles Edgeworth had gotten an updated autopsy report. He was still wrong, but he'd gotten one. So, the autopsy report. The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed. Oh.
That's right. It says after death right here.
I don't know what that ah was, but it's okay. The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall? Ah!
Order, order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, Then the victim must have been killed in a room. Don't you agree?
That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room. And she was then thrown out of the window down into the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Mr. Nim's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Why?
No traces of blood were found in the victim's room.
Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found in my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in the room, then your claim that— Wah!
I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood.
When it produces the most blood?
Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound.
That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding.
We take the knife. Yes. However, yes. Do you see this thing? That's gonna cause some blood. That's a lot of blood. That thing stabs you 3 times at once. Come on now. Come on now. What is this tomfoolery?
A perfectly reasonable line of thinking.
We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions. Have you seen that sword? There's no way a body would fall 10 feet with it lodged in its back and it be just perfectly fine. No.
Order, order, order! I must admit, this is a probable version of events.
That still means Bikini couldn't have seen the stabbing. Exactly. So what did she see? If, in fact, she actually saw this, if what she is saying is true and she's not the actual murderer, what the crap did she see? Her taking the sword out? That doesn't make any sense. I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point.
It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness.
The weight of the sword would have made her twist onto her back, slamming it deeper. I mean, yeah, probably. But then she would have been skewered, like, some other way. She wouldn't have been laying on her front. And there'd be so much more blood on the sword. Like, look at this thing. It's huge. And it's got so many pointy bits. So many pointy bits. And yet only some of them have blood on them. If she had landed more on the sword, more of her blood would have run down the sword. Like, gravity says that this is not a sword you could fall on properly. So I don't know what's going on. This is a wild case, just to be frank. So, how in the world does this work? There's got to be something going on here. The nun is lying. Exactly. Exactly. She has to be. I mean, I may not like Dahlia, but because, you know, she tried to kill so many people, actually. But I gotta admit, like, maybe she's not guilty in this time. Of course, she's probably guilty somehow. She's probably involved in it. But, like, is the nun turning on her? Like, what is happening right now? I don't know. I don't know.
Or we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all such supposition on your part and tell us only the facts, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the crate.
Don't go selling me short now.
It's very easy to do when you're that short.
The weight of the winter snow has bent me out of shape. Especially my back and my mood.
Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. Oh my god. Worst case, if the nun did see Dahlia with the sword, Dahlia was trying to pull it out. But if she's trying to pull it out, then who stabbed Elise Stonem? And also, Where is little Pearl Fay? Where is Mr. Visor himself? And is Maya okay? Because they haven't been able to get across Dusky Bridge yet to get her out. It's been over 24 hours and she's freezing to death. My money's on the nun. I'm also betting on the nun. I'm thinking she surprised her, stabbed her, let her fall, and then walked her happy butt downstairs knowing that nobody was going to come find her. Because Iris would be at the inner temple with Maya. Of course, I don't know how she could have been over there and also over here. So she said she was in a room, but she was supposed to be at the inner temple. So, you know. But also, is Maya okay? I don't know. I'm kind of worried about Maya now. Also, Von Karma's going to give her a vigorous massage when they're done. I don't think I appreciate that either. Isn't the statue the sword... Isn't the statue that had the sword in the courtyard? Yes. I think. I don't remember. I wish I had a picture because I don't know. Oh. Yeah, no, it's in the hand of the statue. Okay, so if she saw her stab her, how was it back in the statue's hand? Someone took that sword upstairs to stab her. Or they stabbed her with something else. Maybe they stabbed her with something else and it got replaced with the sword to like make it look like it happened in the courtyard. Oh yeah, deliberate murder. But I'm thinking maybe the nun stabbed her with something else. She falls out the window, right? And then lands in the courtyard. And then the nun, trying to frame the sister, knows that the sister handled the weapon at some point today. So she swaps it out because the sword has Iris's fingerprints on it. So maybe? I don't know. I'm getting too conspiracy theory right now. All right, giving her a massage. With the whip. Oh boy. All right. Same. All right. I believe there is 2 sections to the trial, then another investigation section, then another trial section. So we're just like the first half of this case.
When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place.
Oh, interesting.
Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Mystic Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Mystic Ami was stabbing Mystic Elise through the back.
Interesting. All right. So before she passed out, she says that she saw Iris with the sword in hand over the body. But then when she woke up, Mystic Ami, the statue, had the sword again.
This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory.
Von Karmas strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska Von Karma. And I'm here to teach you just that. He's just so, like, impassable. And Phoenix would be, like, sweating bullets at this moment. Alright. So you didn't see... I've never seen so much blood before, she says. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right. Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too.
Oh. Very struggling. Splattered onto Iris. But there's no blood on her now. So where did the blood go? When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room. And her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner. Her blood-flecked clothing? This is the first I'm hearing of this. What? Her clothes were blood-flecked as well. And the blood wouldn't have splattered until the blade was taken out. Exactly. So she was removing the blade. Why? I have no idea. But also, Why didn't we know that there was blood-flecked clothing that she was not wearing? Because she's not covered in blood now, like...
That seems quite conclusive to me.
What should I do? Press this point further? I don't know. I don't know. Do we press further? Do we not press further? I mean, what can it hurt? What can it hurt? But then why did it end up back in the victim with the statue holding it? Exactly. Did she take it out part way? Did she... I don't know. Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed. But now, you say you saw the victim bleeding?
Well, well, I say that what I saw is what I saw.
What did you see?
Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day.
That's not even remotely what you testified to in the first place. Pulling the sword out.
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out.
Oh.
Witness, you will add a statement to your testimony.
Oh, was that important?
She just changed her testimony again. Yeah, sus. More important than you can imagine. Ah-ha-ha! In which the blade plunged into the hilt was drawn smoothly out. Except it wasn't plunged to the hilt, or there would be blood all over the whole thing. Take that. I mean, objection. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least, I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
Well, what do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar.
Aren't you?
But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you.
What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to the hilt into its victim. As you are, exactly. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities.
Oh my god! What do you mean? Please explain you. Wah!
Explain yourself. To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that. Look at it. It's huge. Doesn't appear. That meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail. But I can crush men under my heel and make them weep, should I so choose. We don't need to know what you do on the weekends at the club, Francisca, please.
The objection stands. I wept a little black there, I must admit.
That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed up into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. Certainly it wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. Thank you, that was my whole point. Way more bloody. The whole thing would be covered in blood. And also, how do you, like, protect multiple spots? You know, there's no way. As in 1 minute? Okay. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop the bleeding. That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shishachito. I gotta find a better way to say that. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly, and may still sometimes stop the blood loss. I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction.
You still got more?
This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it? Ah! If this witness is telling the truth, then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword. No! Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
But what does this all mean? You're proving contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but...
Having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... the weapon used to kill the victim was not the shishishito.
What?
A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think the sword was the murder weapon?
Well...
Oh, I got her voice wrong.
It's because Miss Tagami was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the shishishito was the murder weapon.
Oh my god!
Order! Ah!
So maybe the shishishito was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object.
That's true.
No, she said that sword.
Your response, Miles Edgeworth?
If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises.
The obvious question?
Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found. That's...
Answer the question, Miss Von Karma.
No evidence of that kind was found. Yes, it does, because A, that means she's lying, and thus an unreliable witness, and she is accused on the basis of her fingerprints. That's true. If this is not the murder weapon, and obviously Bikini didn't see what she said she saw, if this is not the murder weapon, then somebody else killed this woman and pushed her out of her window. And then planted the sword in that woman's body. So what's happening right now?
Another mystery to throw onto the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually.
Just conveniently remembered something? Okay, Bikini. Okay. I don't believe for a second that she just remembered something. I have a feeling that she's like, crap, my testimony's not holding up. They don't believe me. They're gonna think I'm lying, that, you know, Iris isn't the guilty one, blah, 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 blah. I gotta come up with something else. This sounds like a last-ditch effort she's about to make, so... Then the only witness is lying, so not admissible. The fingerprints on the sword mean nothing, so no basis to suspect Iris. Exactly. But who killed the victim? Because she was definitely stabbed, and she definitely fell out of a window, or fell 10 feet at least. So what happened to this woman? And also, where is Pearl? I know I asked that already, but I'm asking it again. Where is Pearl Faye? Justice for Pearl Faye. Is she kidnapped? Man, is this another kidnapping case? I feel like it's about to be. What is it, sister?
I was just thinking, it's possible that just maybe what actually happened was, it was just over there.
What exactly are... I'm about to give him a different word.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean. Maybe. I think I might know where the sword was disposed of.
She should be let go no matter who the murderer is, otherwise Iris is being held unlawfully. Yes, but also, I'm gonna bet she says they threw it into the river. I'm just gonna bet that. You what? Oh my god. Well then, I think we need to hear the testimony from you one more time, sister.
Impossible.
What else? What else could this old woman have seen? Yep. She's about to say it was thrown off the bridge. That's exactly what's about to happen. Alright. I'm ready.
I saw the murder around 11 p.m. And after asking that it be reported, I went out to the main gate. And there I saw tracks. I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. It takes 15 minutes to walk to Dusky Bridge, but less than 5 using one of those.
But lightning did strike the bridge. That's the thing. We have proof that lightning struck the bridge. And that there was fire. Or at least as far as we know we have proof, because technically the reason we have proof is because of Larry. So, I don't know. We know the bridge was on fire. At minimum. We know the bridge was on fire. We saw it as a group. Phoenix fell off the burning bridge. We know that happened. So, she's saying she saw tracks. Wouldn't they have just been her own tracks? I don't understand.
Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Iris could have done that. She can drive a snowmobile after all.
Could, may have, possibly.
Witness, please tell us everything you know right away next time.
Well, I'm not in the best of shape. What with my back and age, you know.
Quite. There were indeed snowmobile tracks in front of the main gate. Here is a photograph. Ooh, photograph. Okay, so when did the snow? Was it still snowing around the time of the murder? Yes? No? It was not snowing anymore after that point. So if the murder happened at like 10-ish, then it doesn't make, or well, it's kind of hard to say because it really depends on when the murder happened. Okay, sometime between 10 and 11, the murder happened. Okay, so she was stabbed in the back, she fell 10 feet. Sometime between 10 and 11. And at, where did it go? Between 7 and 10:50, there was snow. Between 10 and 11, there was lightning. So that very little window, there was no snow to cover the snowmobile tracks. Right. Which means there should be 2 tracks. That's what I was getting at. So either she left before the murder and then got rid of it and then came back. Well, no, because that means she could have, if it was her. She could have taken it, gotten rid of it, and gotten back by the time the snow stopped falling. I guess. But there's also footprints. I'm assuming that's Phoenix running there? I don't know.
A snowmobile, eh? I see. Well, it certainly is an interesting theory.
I thought I was onto something, and now I'm a lot less confident. You can't get rid of a murder weapon before you murder someone. Right. But the theory is maybe she killed her and pushed her out the window and then went and disposed of the murder weapon. But if she actually witnessed Iris doing it, she couldn't have because the snow had stopped falling by then. I think that's where they're going with this. There should be 2. Okay, yeah. All right. I think we're on the same path, like same brain right here. But I don't know if the game's on that path, so we gotta get there. Alright. The tracks begin in front of Hazakura Temple. And run all the way to Dusky Bridge. But they don't start in front of the temple, they end in front of the temple. That solves your pesky little problem, yes? The Eagle River's current is quite swift. Meaning that it doesn't freeze over in winter. Making it the perfect place to dispose of the murder weapon. Except Those aren't starting at the temple, they're ending at the temple because they're behind the snowmobile. Did she really go to the river to dispose of the murder weapon?
Mr. Edgeworth, your cross-examination, please.
Alright. I don't know. Alright. I saw the murder at around 11. After asking it to be murdered, I went to the main gate. I saw tracks that indicated the snowmobile had been used. Alright, so... press, maybe? As I recall, there was a snowmobile outside the main gate when I visited.
That's it. That's the only one we have. It'll run no matter how much snow falls.
Now you're certain the snowmobile was there at the main gate when you arrived?
Yes, of course. It was parked in front of the gate.
So she had already gone, discarded the murder weapon, and returned by that time. You have to object when she says they came back. Press further. I need answers to every possible doubt. The snowmobile in question. Was it still warm at that time?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What do you mean, eh?
What do you mean, Miles Edgeworth? Oh, I gave her a voice. I keep giving her an accent instead of not giving her an accent. I'm playing to a slow crowd here. It goes without saying that using a snowmobile will heat its engine. If it was still warm, then it means it was recently used.
Ah, I see. I never thought of that.
That's right. I overlooked that too.
Of course you did. Then answer the question, please, witness.
I don't often go around touching hot engines. However, now that you mention it, there wasn't any snow on it.
No.
Yes, for some reason, only the snowmobile wasn't covered in snow.
We're giving her opportunities to lie. Why are we doing that? There wasn't any snow on it? Curses.
It seems highly likely that the killer did use the snowmobile then, eh?
How long does it take to get to Dusky Bridge by snowmobile? In that case, why didn't you use it yourself? You could have spared yourself some walking. Of course there's going to be a reason for that.
Ah, there's a reason for that. Have we got a moment for me to explain?
I think that's why the question was asked in the first place.
It was about a month ago. I was driving my beloved little snowmobile, happy as can be. I'd fetched some water and was heading back when I went and crashed into a tree. The tree and my back both went crunch, just like that. Crunch!
Crunch.
I haven't been able to find the courage to write anything since then. Anyway, the killer must have used it.
Refresh our memory. How long were you knocked out for?
Like I said, somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes.
It's possible to get to the bridge and back in 10 minutes using the snowmobile. I have to concede that is more than enough time. Is that all you wish to concede, Miles Edgeworth? Ugh, I don't know. Like, do I press this statement, or do I just continue pressing her other statements? That's the real question, because she's basically saying that somebody would have used the snowmobile and would have, like, I don't know, would have gone all the way and come back. So I'm guessing it's probably this, and we're supposed to debate the fact that they're... Oops. Blah, 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 blah. I didn't mean to press, I meant to present. I'm guessing we're supposed to, you know, came back. We're probably supposed to be like, but there's only 2 tracks and not from. Whatever. Let's try this again. Let's try our line of thought. I must admit, this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Ah, you're right! You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction, now doesn't it?
I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow.
What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in her theory? This idea that the snowfall covered one set of tracks. We gotta say it's a contradiction, but what proves it? In the short amount of time it takes to get there and throw it in the river? Right. The tracks to the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. See, I think the theory we're gonna go with is the fact that it had stopped snowing at 10:50. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me.
On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge in order to dispose of the murder weapon. The outgoing tracks were erased by snow, or so claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence that the outgoing tracks were not covered by snow.
I think we're supposed to be going with the fact that the weather says, like, no. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're supposed to go with the weather data that basically says, you know, we're supposed to say, oh, it actually had stopped snowing by then. But technically it snowed right up until the end of the kill window, so unless she is dead set on that 11 o'clock, this is our reason. Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. See, that's going to be the whole crux of this. Like I said, it was around 11. Around 11 doesn't necessarily mean 11, though. And that's the part that's kind of tripping me up. Because I would say 10:50 is around 11. Yeah. She said she saw the murder at 11 p.m., which means it wasn't snowing. True. She could also mean 11:10 when she says around 11. So, depends on if she knows exactly what time it was. Of course, that means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. Data, I guess. It is the weather report for Eagle Mountain on the night of the murder.
The weather report?
Snow started to fall at 7 p.m., but stopped at around 10:50. Yes, it was before 11. But that's what I mean. Like, if I saw a murder, unless the whole point is like, oh, even if she had passed out at 10:50, that's also when the snow stopped, blah, 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 blah. So, I get it, kind of. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 p.m., the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made after that time to have been covered up. Oh!
Oh, order, order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in.
He's been waiting to use a pun.
Wow!
It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this, then. When is a weather report ever correct? Yeah, 10 minutes before or after is what I would think around 11 would mean. Yeah, so you're right. If she saw the murder at 10:50, then that means that she was passed out when the snow stopped falling, basically.
Oh, no. You've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast. This is actual data. Rah!
Forecast data. All weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may still have been snowing in the vicinity, well past 11 p.m.
That's true. We cannot be totally sure, eh?
What? How did she pull that off?
It has stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. We need to provide conclusive evidence of this.
I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Not if it's a record of past weather. I think our proof is actually the crime photo. Because there's no snow on the body. Like, if it had still been snowing after the murder took place, there would be snow on the body. Yeah. We had the same thought. Love it. Very well. I, too, cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Huh. You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth.
Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. Where is your evidence that it had already stopped snowing when the victim was killed?
That would be the victim's body, Your Honor. Yeah. There's no snow on that bad boy.
Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being, whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo would tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered in snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Donim. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It had stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph there should be two sets of tracks. Oh!
Order! Just what are you...
Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? We're good at this. Yeah! Pro detectives. I mean pro attorneys. Ace attorneys, even. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. Then, when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained.
Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me.
What does, sister?
There is only one key for the snowmobile.
Gasp. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know that the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder.
Which can only mean that night, Iris used the snowmobile to go to the inner temple.
But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance.
The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge. So she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot.
That sounds right.
But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge.
So the snowmobile wasn't there. You must have just failed to see it, sister.
Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple...
Oh.
It was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow, too.
Interesting. But that isn't possible! Now there's 2 snowmobiles! Can this lady ever tell the truth?
Order, order, order in the court! What does this all mean?
So then, what was the snowmobile used for? It wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been... Oh, my god. Then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. Furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be 2 sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble.
I think we've learned all that we can from this witness.
Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know.
But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile.
A witness, huh?
Was there no one out walking, perhaps, near Dusky Bridge on that night?
I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that.
We know an idiot.
Unless they had something really important to do.
That's a shame.
Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor, actually, there might just be one individual who may be of help to us.
Really?
You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not, but there are 2 things about him that do come to mind.
Which are?
First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. And the second being, this individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot.
Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about?
I'm just gonna call him an idiot the whole time. Amazing. Clarice Donim.
This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deluxe, Guide to Obnoxious French Painting.
This is Larry Butts, a disciple of the victim, Elise Donim.
Her student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder?
That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness, before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was, perhaps, searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him. Although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. Smooth! And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man, what exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him right here in this courtroom.
Summon this youth as a witness immediately.
I don't really want to. I have no choice, do I? I believe he is in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long at all to summon him.
Very well.
Larry, you may have escaped me yesterday, but today I am going to get everything out of you. Going to get everything out of you, Larry.
The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness.
Understood, Your Honor.
Good. Well then, court is now in recess.
You got it.
You got it, Judgykins!
Lord, what is Larry going to have done? What is he going to have seen? What is he going to say? He is always, without fail, the most annoying character in this whole series because he always sees something insane or lies about something or who knows, and he's just gonna do something incorrect. I don't know what he's gonna do, but it's gonna be wrong. That's all I can guess. Alright, let's save and go.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not really sure what to say.
Can it, Dahlia? I'm done with you right now. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are 2 things which I need to ask you before we reconvene.
Alright. I'll help you any way I can.
First, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you at the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying.
Mr. Edgeworth, it's just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple.
Very well. The second thing, then? That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 p.m. that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile?
There is only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me.
So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge?
I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth.
Iris, we're trying to get you cleared of murder. You cannot just lie to us the whole time. To meet Larry, duh. But why are they 5 sec clocks? Iris!
I can't tell you about that yet.
Yet?
Not until her safety is confirmed.
Her?
The safety of the Acolyte.
The Acolyte, huh? She must be talking about Maya. So she won't tell us what she was doing until Maya is safe, which is very strange. I don't think I like this. So many things are giving me red flags right now. And Snorlax is falling over. Quit putting your eye in my chair, bro. Sit up. Stop sleeping. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Donim?
No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life.
Alright. No Cyclops. So she did not kill Elise Donim. Whatever she did, she didn't kill her. As I thought, no Psychologs. Very well. It is my job to get to the truth. You will discover this for yourself soon enough. But what did she do? She did something. She definitely did something. Suspicious.
Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where is the witness?
During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behavior in the gallery. Suspicious behavior? He was sketching something very intensely.
Dare I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained?
Sorry. He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. No clue who that could have been. No idea.
I can only presume that his intention was to capture... Ah!
Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse for an artist before the court. Larissa Donim, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. Oh yeah. She's ready with it. Ouch. Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey, I was just artistically wondering. Ouch! You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Well, look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist trotting out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, they use the technical term for the color, Viridian. Larry? This isn't an art store, now is it? And your whip is not. I mean... I know, graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume he wanted to say field work? I hope. But that's it. Thanks, buddy. It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expected all your faces to be red when you realized this mistake. Bright red. Or to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. Ouch! 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 Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man! Refrain from whipping, Miss Von Karma. Cross whipping is just as bad as cross checking. Witness, that was all your fault. Testify now! What? This is too much for me. It's a little too much for me, too. That was very goofy. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars at night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now, aren't I, Edgy? Edgy! Elise, I'm so mad at you right now.
Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony.
I'm just a nobody. Nothing but a small, worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else?
Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex.
He's recently been the cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realized for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people.
That's right, I mind everything, every case.
Larry, are you saying you're the murderer now?
Watch out, okay? Just touching me will make you eternally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination. With no touching, thank you. We can delve into other details at a later time. Blah, blah, blah.
His voice got lost in there a little bit. Alright, what'd you see? Looking up at the stars. Watch the bridge a number of times. No, why did you walk to the bridge? A number of times? How many?
Maybe 5 times? I went once every 20 minutes.
Which means you spent almost 2 hours at Heavenly Hall that night.
You bet. Real love is about waiting with your heart in your hands. Love, you said.
It was this man's intention to summon the defendant to the small shack, using this blackmail letter.
Oh, blackmail? No, that was simply a product of overflowing love. Wow!
You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness!
So, what did you see? I hope for your sake you saw a snowmobile. You huffy-puffy, loosey-goosey excuse for a whimpering, whining wuss of a witness, eh?
Well, you see, being called those names doesn't seem to bother him at all. Not a bit. Larry, you really didn't see it. Tried to slam my leg, but it wasn't as loud.
Hey, no need to hit your desk. I can hear you. I didn't see it. I didn't see it's no snowmobile.
Larry, say snowmobile for me, please.
Snowmobile?
If you truly have nothing to hide, then why are you stammering like you just flew over a cuckoo's nest?
Just shut up. What is this? I don't know. Don't ask me.
Seems that I'll need to start from a more obvious contradiction. I'm going to strike the blow that will finally get him to spill the beans. Beans! You didn't meet anyone.
That's right, because it got nothing to do with this. And I'm just here to buy some Viridian paint, okay? Come on, expect to see those crimson-like faces, now. It would appear that simply pressing him isn't going to be enough, Mr. Edgeworth.
Indeed. It seems that he's going to claim to have nothing to do with this to the end. I don't want this guy to cost us any more time. I need to slice through his obvious contradictions and keep things moving along. Alright, so we know for certain that he met with Phoenix, right? Because Phoenix told him to call the cops about the murder while Phoenix dashed across the flaming bridge. So, you didn't see a snowmobile, but you didn't also see no one. You definitely saw Phoenix Wright. Larry Butts. I can understand why you might want to throw your old life away. You're pretty pathetic, and you cause all sorts of trouble.
I'm sorry.
But having realised just how much of a nuisance you have been, that could be considered a step in the right direction.
Edgy, are you trying to console me?
It certainly doesn't sound that way to me.
Oh, excuse me.
However, I cannot forgive you for simply turning away from the incidents you create.
What? You're totally pinning this on me.
Now then, let us talk about the night of the murder. Sister Bikini, after seeing the murder take place, asked Phoenix Wright to report it. Thus, he headed for the public phone by the bridge. There, he happened across a certain nefarious individual. You, Larry Butts. So I get ready for work? No worries. I have a lot of yawns in my body today. Making more coffee, putting on wig, etc. Fair enough.
That's right, me in the flesh.
Listen carefully, witness. It doesn't matter if you change your name. So long as you remain pretty pathetic, you will continue to cause these incidents. That reality will not change.
But what do you want me to do then?
Larry, what you need to change is your inner self. But for now, what you saw that night, testifying truthfully about this one issue, is all I need from you.
Edgy, I think I've finally woken up. Well, I guess I could still be sleeping. But anyway, I'll do it. I'll testify. Well, I'm not sure this will go especially well.
Well, let's go again then, witness. What did you see on the night of the murder?
What'd you see, bro? Please.
Went to the shack around 9, so it would have been around 10:30. I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me. I looked out the window, and Dusky Bridge was on fire. There was still some thunder, but I went right away to check it out. That's when I ran into Nick.
Around 10:30? Around 10:30 would have been way after the murder happened. There's no way that's the right time.
You certainly saw quite a lot, didn't you?
So, what happened to the bridge after it caught on fire?
It was like me after a 3-day stint chasing a girl. It totally burnt out. Like, almost totally gone.
Yeah, the murder was at 11. Or around-ish 11. So at 10:30, when the lightning struck and made the bridge catch on fire, wouldn't that have been impossible? Where's that weather report? So there was lightning between 10 and 11. Lightning struck the bridge at 10:45. 30 minutes passed between the fire starting and going out. So the bridge gets struck with lightning. And it takes him 15 minutes to go check it out? Or even 30 minutes to go check it out? Because unless he was standing there watching it burn for a while, which is possible, then Phoenix shouldn't have come across him at the bridge. What was Larry doing? I'm sure he was doing something dumb.
I mean, trying to cross the burning remains was what caused Nick to fall.
What did you say? Oh, don't worry. It's nothing life-threatening. He just caught a cold. I never know with that man if he should be called lucky or unlucky.
Now, Mr. Edgeworth, please commence your cross-examination.
I don't know.
What time was it, Larry? I don't know, I'm as part of assessment. This was the whole thing, basically. What did you do out there in the cold for an hour and a half?
Well, if you really must know, I was busy getting exciting, I guess. Being excited, I guess.
Did Larry just admit on the stand that he was busy? I don't know.
Excited? Dare I even ask?
Me either, Judge.
I said the meeting time is 10, right? But I couldn't wait. And I thought she might come early, too.
Don't question it. I'm not questioning it, nothing. I ain't doing nothing. Honestly, maybe she didn't come at all in the end. Because they never arranged to meet in the first place, did they?
Shut up! Don't go picking apart my fond memories. Anyway, I was getting a little worried. I thought maybe Iris had lost her way. So every 20 minutes or so, I went onto the bridge. But I didn't see anything particularly suspicious. I didn't have anything else to do, so I went back to the shack to wait for her.
Oh, but God, if these yawns don't stop.
I was lying under my bedding when a white flash almost blinded me.
This light was a course.
Lightning.
False memories, Larry. False memories.
Like, kerpow. Like a slap from Naomi, honestly. A big bada boom.
Yeah.
Or a little like that.
She whipped him so that he would remember.
Wah! That's more like a punch from Miranda.
What?
Witness, did you actually see the lightning hit the bridge? Well, I was a bit startled by the flash of light, so... I looked out the window. Disky Bridge was on fire.
Yawning is caused by reading out loud. I don't know why that happens, but when I'm reading out loud, it happens to me too. I think it's because I'm using so many different accents, and I'm trying to, like, tax my brain extra to do it. I don't know. I think the voice acting is causing the yawns, but it's very strange. It only seems to happen when I'm playing this game.
Seeing that, what did you do?
What do you think? It was burning up as well, from the fire in my heart.
And that's why you went to take a look at the bridge. Don't use voices when I read loud. Fair enough. I'm just saying why it might be for me, because I also read a lot when we're playing other games. And I don't really yawn as much when we're playing other games, so I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm sorry. Stop it because you're making me yawn and it makes me sleepy. I'm sorry.
Well, to be honest, it was freezing cold, so at first I thought, forget it, I'm not leaving my covers. But it had pretty much stopped snowing, so I don't know, I changed my mind. I'm not sure I care for the forget it attitude you had at first, witness.
I mean, what was he supposed to do about it, Judge?
There was still some thunder, but I went to check it out. Went right away to check it out.
You said right away, but exactly how long after the strike was that?
The lightning fell, and then the bridge caught on fire. Maybe around 5 minutes? I mean, I suddenly thought, gotta go check this out.
How far is the small shack you were in from the bridge?
Hold on, well, it had pretty much stopped snowing. I guess about a 5-minute walk?
And how did Dusky Bridge look when you got there?
Like I had recovered a piece of my childhood. I mean, not even the bonfires kids make during school camping trips can compare.
Well, should I press him for a little more info?
Why? Why didn't you call anyone? Why'd you go to the bridge? I don't know.
So you suddenly thought to check out the bridge. Does this mean that you initially had no intention of doing so?
Well, yeah, I guess it does. It was really cold, and I didn't want to go out there. If that's the case, why did you change your mind? I would like to hear your reasoning. In which case, please give testimony to that effect, witness. My reasoning? Okay. Reasoning, is it? He said, I thought I'd never get a chance to see something so big burning. So you decided to go and see what was happening? That's right, we're talking about a massive suspension bridge burning to high heaven. That's not something you see every day. A real speckle... Like, really, really special. Can we really trust a witness who is unable to pronounce spectacle? Life seems to love hitting this poor witness below the belt. Well, my motto is to hit life back as hard as I can. Ah! I'll give you a few hits too, if you like, with my whip. He told me about the burning bridge yesterday, but there's still something that doesn't quite fit. It looks like, despite his change of heart, Larry still isn't telling us the whole truth. Been around 10:30. Blah, blah, blah. Dusky bridge is on fire. Went right away to check. Did he? I don't know how to prove that he didn't go right away. Because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he didn't go right away, but I don't know how to prove it? I don't know. What was that other option that we had? How long was that? Gotta check it out. Blah, blah, blah. How did it take you? Should I press him? Why didn't you call anyone? Was the other one. Larry, let me ask you one thing. What is it, Edgy? What's with the serious face? Why didn't you call anyone? Yeah, that one. Huh? What do you mean? Normally, when faced with a towering inferno, one would try to tell someone. There is a public phone right by Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, of course, I thought of doing that. So then, let's hear why you didn't. Huh? Yeah, okay. A reason. My reason. It isn't that I didn't try to tell anyone. I just didn't have time to, okay? I arrived at the bridge, and Nick showed up less than a minute later. Wait. Okay, so he claims he got up right away, 5-minute walk, and then Nick was there. But he claims that was at 10:30. The murder was discovered and happened and all that at 11. So... No, he didn't. He didn't go right away. There's no way. You claim to have arrived at the bridge at the same time as right. Yeah. I thought I'd better tell someone about this. But then Nick came up yelling about murder. It totally made me forget about the bridge. The fire was pretty much out by then anyway. What's this feeling? I suddenly have a terrible case of unease. It was after contacting the police that Phoenix Wright fell from the bridge, correct? Yeah, that's pretty much it, more or less. Alright, so that funny feeling we just had, that's the thing we gotta prove. Alright. Okay. So we know that this couldn't have been the same time. The only thing we really have a timestamp on that we can prove is the weather report, so I'm gonna use that. But I'm gonna save first in case that's not it. We're gonna save real quick. Alright. Alright, the music stopped, so we must be right. Your very existence being a contradiction, I'm not sure if you can grasp this or not. What the hey, Edgy? Made me sound like some sort of alien. But your testimony is conclusively contradictory. The problem here is time. What about Bikini's statement that the murder was 11? I don't think we have a thing that says that. We have the autopsy report, so I probably could have used that too.
But the autopsy report says between 10 and 11, and Blight's out bill is 10. So the only thing that says, like, oh, lightning struck the bridge at 10:45 is Larry, or versus Larry's testimony. So if he says it struck at 10:30, but it actually struck at 10:45, that's still 15 minutes we can't account for him. And if it struck at 10:45 and he went immediately, then how did Nick show up right away if Nick didn't show up until like 11:05? So, yeah, between 10 and 11, same.
I've never been the best timekeeper, you know. 3 minutes after Billy leaves on foot, you follow him on your bicycle. How long does it take for you to catch up with him? Terrible at those.
This is much more simple. You saw the lightning strike Dusky Bridge, and immediately went to see what had happened. Is this correct?
Yeah, well, I wasted about 5 minutes first, but more or less.
So now he's saying he stayed for 5 minutes, then took the 5-minute walk, then got there at the same time as Nick. So there's still 5 minutes unaccounted for, Larry.
I have the weather data. I have the weather data from the night of the murder here. According to this, the lightning fell at 10:45 p.m. You say it takes less than 5 minutes from the shack to Dusky Bridge? Meaning you probably got there around 11 p.m.
That all sounds about right, I guess. And then Nick showed up and did his falling act.
And it couldn't have been at 10:30.
That is impossible.
What do you mean?
11 p.m. is when the murder occurred at Hozakura Temple. Thus, Wright was still there in the courtyard.
Oh, so he's saying that the lightning struck at 10:45, and then he didn't show up at the bridge until 11:15.
There is no way that Larry could have encountered him at Dusky Bridge at that time.
Excuse me, I have an objection. You do? Edgy, how many times do I have to say this? I'm not Larry. I'm Larista Nim. Yeah!
It has not been proven that the murder occurred at 11 p.m. The sister only said around 11. In which case, it could have been earlier than that.
What's your footing there, Miss Franziska von Karma? The slope ahead is slippery.
Well, there is still no way that Wright could have been at the Dusky Bridge at 11 p.m.
And why not? It is clearly written here in the weather data report. It took around 30 minutes for the bridge to burn out. Therefore, the bridge must have been burning until at least 11:15 p.m.
Which means what exactly?
Wright did not see the bridge while it was being consumed by flames that night, didn't he?
Oh, okay, because I was thinking the bridge was on fire when Wright got there, but apparently they were dying down, so... Okay. So Nick did not arrive at the bridge until after 11:15, is what Edgeworth is saying.
In fact, he did not arrive on the scene until after the flames had died down. Larry, you arrived at the bridge at 11 p.m, but Wright did not make it there until at least 11:15. I suggest you stop hiding things and just tell us the whole truth. Now then, what happened during these missing 15 minutes?
Ugh. I feel like I just got brutally woken up by a toilet splashback.
Gross. You wouldn't have been able to try to cross the bridge if it was still actively burning. That's fair. That's fair. I didn't think about that.
I guess I was still sleeping after all. Ha ha ha, pinch me. Order, order, order!
So there was a missing 15 minutes prior to meeting Phoenix Wright? I hardly see that as much of a problem.
Yeah, not much of a problem at all.
Really? The bridge is burning before your eyes, and there is a phone right next to it. So he never saw the lightning. He may have seen the lightning, but I don't think he went to the bridge.
Why then did you not report the accident?
Yes, witness, why didn't you? Were you there simply to watch the bridge burn?
Did you light it on fire?
And therein lies the problem.
For even after the bridge had burnt out, he was still there. Staring into space, this witness didn't even attempt to fulfill his civic duty. That's what it sounds like. Ah, but this is Larry we are talking about, and even he is incapable of being so stupid. Which means there has to be a reason for his inaction. Edgy, I think it's about time I got serious with you, dude. Just as I thought, you've been playing with us all this time. Is Larry the secret murderer? Is that what we're about to find out?
Listen, I'm going to tell you everything. Are you sure you want to hear it all?
Yes. Yes.
I may really say it this time.
Oh, then say it.
Very well. I have a terribly bad feeling about this. However, let's have the witness finally give the whole truth. Now, for this 15-minute gap, what were you doing, witness?
Larry, I swear to everything, if you did something bad, swear to God.
I'm a donim. I'm an artist. What do you think I was doing? Sketching in front of the bridge. I was whipped up into a frenzy of art. The shock and awe that I was feeling, I transferred it all directly onto the page. Before I realized it, the flames had gone out, and then he came running up.
So where is it? Where's the artwork?
I suppose artists can be strange folk. That's right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything in order to draw the perfect sketch.
Then where is the art, Larry? If that's all you were doing, if you were just sketching something, where's the picture, Larry? Including the truth, from the sound of it.
Mr. Edgeworth, how does this remove the last of your doubts?
Why does he have the same name as the victim? Because he decided to have that name. He decided to become a pupil of Elise Donim and then just took on her name. And that's what he's dubbed himself, is Larice Donim.
Not at all, Your Honor. One very large doubt still remains.
And what would that be?
This is a surprisingly believable story, especially considering the source. So why did he think he needed to hide it from us until now? I intend to drag the reason out of him.
Ha ha ha. You'll regret this, Edgy.
Regret what? What am I about to regret, Larry? What am I about to regret? Alright. Where's the art? And where is the sketch?
The burning bridge moved you that much, did it? I find that hard to believe.
You moron, Edgy. You don't understand me at all. If I see an abandoned cat, I find myself passing by it with tears in my eyes.
Okay.
I am a man overflowing with irresponsible kindness.
What?
And I use my irresponsible kindness to fill the pages of my notebook.
An artist using a notebook. It's so pathetic it makes me want to cry myself. I command you to go buy at least a proper sketch pad.
What does that got to do with anything?
Okay. What does that have to do with the burning bridge?
I'm not sure if I care for an artist using a notebook for sketching. Proceed, witness.
Give the guy some slack, just because he uses a notebook. Alright. What do you think I was doing? Sketching.
Sketching the burning bridge.
Burning bridge and everything that came with it.
What do you mean, everything that came with it, Larry?
What came with it?
You want to hear this from my lips, do you, Edgy? You'll regret this. That sketch of mine is... Gah!
Enough! Just take that ridiculous sketch of yours out already, witness.
Well, what are you talking about? I don't know what you mean.
I have a Sakura sketch notebook. It says so on the cover. See? You can have a notebook and a sketchbook.
That does indeed appear to be the fastest solution. Yeah, that does indeed appear to be the fastest solution.
Show us the picture, Larry.
I'll leave it to you, Mr. Edgeworth.
What should I do? I've got a terrible feeling that the instant this sketch is revealed, the entire world may be changed by what is depicted there. Is it gonna be so great that nobody can resist? Let me see the dang photo. Larry, I wonder if you could show us your sketch, please. Whoa. Even I couldn't have imagined it would turn out like this. Imagined what? The Larista Nim's debut would take place here today like this.
Oh, George!
Show it now!
Okay, but steel yourselves. This is the world of Larista Nim.
What is that?
Oh, well, so this is Dusky Bridge, correct? Well, quite a large bridge, isn't it? Your response, Miss Von Karma?
Yes, well, it's a better drawing than I expected.
Isn't it? I struggled to reproduce those flames, it really did. Yes, I'm sure you did.
This is going to get ugly. Trash him into the ground. No one has the courage to bring it up, it seems. This mysterious flying object. Larry?
What?
The burning bridge is fine, but what is that unfortunate looking figure?
Ah, you spotted that? I thought you might.
However much I might want to ignore it, I can't.
It's Iris, of course. Iris! Oh, she should take better care of herself. We have to plan for our future, you know? What would have happened to her if she had injured herself flying like that?
I'm sorry. What? Did he just imply that she can fly? I mean, I know that there's like channeling of spirits and supernatural things. There's no flying in this game. We just proved it a couple cases ago. There's no flying. That guy couldn't fly into the air.
Sorry? Please, answer this next question honestly. Okay.
Are you really claiming to have seen this? Are you claiming to have seen the silhouette of the defendant flying over a bridge that was engulfed in flames?
Yep, that's what I saw. That's why I drew it. I'm an artist. A real artist.
You?
Hi? That girl, she's really high up in this picture.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Capcom. I don't know. As high as the burning on that bridge.
Whoa, what was that for?
This is all a bad dream. I was hitting you on the cheek to test that theory.
Please whip your own cheek from now on if you wish to test your wild theories. Anyway, no court of law will ever acknowledge that people can fly.
Actually, there is some precedent for this.
She was flying pretty high, my sweet Iris. She was about 30 feet above the bridge at least. It was really something to see. This has to be some kind of a mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, please bring the witness back down to earth.
What? Me?
This witness is your friend, is he not?
Accessory to foolishness, Miles Edgeworth.
Let us get back to the cross-examination, by force if necessary. Mr. Edgeworth, I expect you to expose the obvious contradiction here.
I am wearing a stunning wig, however I just found out the cap of it is way too big. That's okay. There should be a little clippy thing in the back that allows you to pin it to the back of your head. Sort of. You pin it to itself, and then that makes it tighter on you. Or you can get some bobby pins and bobby pin it to your head. I have done that before with a wig. I have a rather large cranium, so I don't usually have that issue. I usually have the opposite issue, where the wig cap piece is too small. There is netting hanging on my ears. Oh. Well, you can always trim that. Yes, Your Honor. Looks like I've got another reason to remember this moron. Well, what did you think of my debut piece?
Get that thing away from me.
Horrible sketch of what he saw the night of the crime. Horrible sketch. 0 out of 10. A child could do better. This is the worst. Blah, blah, blah. Like, how many ways can we insult this poor man's thing? Like, I don't know. Alright. But then I cut off some of the hair. Oh, yeah. Like I said, if you got bobby pins, you could pin it up a little bit. I guess.
Now, hurry up and cross-examine him.
I have a tiny head, but these wigs are from China, and I have never had this problem. Oh. Bill? Whoops. I pushed a button. Tell us, Larry.
Her name is Elise. Get it right. Mistakes like that are what keep you from being popular with the ladies like I am.
Not enough hair to pin it. Oh. Well, I don't have a lot of solutions for you. You could get some spirit gum and have it tacked to the side of your head, but I don't know if that would stay for ever and ever.
Just who exactly are you? I'm Aristo Nem, apprentice extraordinaire.
That's what he calls himself in any case.
Then you are an artist? Of course, I'm an artist, the real thing.
Yet again, that's what he calls himself. Names mean nothing. There is only one issue I care to discuss. What were you doing? That is a very big issue indeed. Oh. I didn't know there was a new statement. Okay.
I saw Iris flying, her white hood fluttering.
Okay. Well, we know it couldn't have been the White Hood because she gave it to Phoenix Wright. Larry, what did you really see that night? Not that I particularly care.
In your position, that's just being irresponsible. I drew exactly what I saw. I'll give you a whole $1 if it's the truth.
Okay. If that is truly the case, then there is one thing that we can say for certain.
What might that be?
That the person who flew over the bridge could not have been the defendant Iris. Thank you for that hydrate.
Oh, what? What do you mean? I don't understand.
What? A foolhardy folly of a foolish statement by an equally foolishly foolhardy fool. How exactly can you make this claim? Tell us, Larry, according to this picture, the individual whom you say you saw wearing a hood, correct?
Of course she was. That rundown shack is quite away from the bridge. The hood is what told me that this floating angel was my Iris. The hood is my darling Iris, and Iris is my darling hood.
What?
What?
It seems there are bigger fools in this world than the one at the defense's bench. Larry, there's something you need to be made aware of. On the night of the murder, Iris wasn't wearing her hood. She had given it to Wright as a gift. Are you going to change your story now? Perhaps suggest it was Wright who took flight?
What are you talking about?
I think you understand what I mean just fine.
Why? Why did Nick have Iris's hood?
What?
Edgy, what's going on with Iris and Nick? Why, you Nick, you dog!
What? What?
Or do believe that this unbelievably mysterious sketch is destined to disappear, discredited and discarded, straight into the garbage.
Huh. What is it now, witness?
It feels like I've been waiting 25 years for this very day to come. Edgy, today is the day I get to completely stupefy you.
What?
What is the meaning of your outburst, witness? I hate to have to do this, but I have some definitive evidence.
Definitive evidence.
Iris did indeed come flying over the burning bridge. And I, Elise Donim, shall prove it.
Oh, good lord, what is he gonna do?
I didn't expect to ask this again, but we shall be needing your testimony once again. Tell us anything you know concerning the defendant as depicted in this sketch. And show us your evidence that this nightmare was actually a reality. Okay, I hope you're ready, Edgy. Because I'm going to feed you a whopping serving of pain.
You've been serving us a whopping serving of pain this whole time. Trust me. Yeah.
When I reached the city bridge, she was already gone. I was so worried, so I frantically searched all over for her. That led me to finding a beautiful crystal sphere, half buried in the snow. I'm sure that Iris was simply wearing a spare hood. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night.
Actually... Am I misremembering? Her staff is missing a crystal sphere. This case is getting weirder.
A crystal sphere?
This one. Yeah, her photo. There you go.
Pretty, isn't it? But finders keepers.
Hold up, run that sketch. That has blood on it. That sphere. Where did you find it?
Let me see. Around here somewhere? Looks about right.
And it was half buried in the snow.
It had pretty much stopped snowing by then. But there was still some falling as I walked to the bridge. The court accepts this crystal sphere. That's mine, okay? I want it back afterwards. There's something on it.
That's blood.
Oh my, it's blood.
What? Blood? Ah, it has freaking blood on it! What did you do, Larry?
You ready, Edgy? By tomorrow morning, you'll be calling me Master Larry. Yeah, I like the sound of that. No one's gonna push me around anymore.
Didn't you want to be called Elise Donim only a few minutes ago? Alright. Worried, pepper in the snow. After all, no one else could have lost a crystal sphere that night, except this. Larry, that night there was someone who lost a crystal sphere.
There was? Who? Who was this stupid idiot?
Wait, is there a sphere on this thing? Oh, there is a sphere on the hood. Okay. Miss Elise Donim, the mentor to a stupid idiot. The victim. I have a photo of her here. And at the end of her staff, you can see a familiar-looking crystal sphere. I don't know why I said familiar like that.
Hey, that's my photograph. Give it back. Ouch!
A crystal sphere like that is quite easy to find. I have one just like it on my brooch. They look nothing alike. In any case, please take a look at this. This is the victim's staff, found at the scene of the crime.
Oh, the crystal sphere. It's gone.
That was the wrong voice for the judge. I don't know why I gave him Larry's voice.
What? Just what does this mean?
If anyone jumped or flew across the bridge that night, it certainly was not Iris. After all, she was not wearing her hood. More importantly, the crystal sphere found the landing site was not hers either.
That means the one who flew and dropped the sphere was the victim, Miss Elise Donim?
Same. A fool alongside another fool on a fool's errand to reach a foolish conclusion. First of all, this sketch, which I prefer to call a scribble, is ridiculous. People cannot fly, thus it is rejected.
You can't do that. I saw it with my own two eyes.
And this crystal sphere? This is nothing more than a red herring. You honestly believe that? Give it some thought, and I'm sure you'll realize it as well, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donim was in her room on the night of the murder. There was no reason for her to go to Dusky Bridge. Therefore, this sphere cannot be related to this case. That is all. Miss Franziska von Karma. The only people who will accept that explanation are scatterbrains and clowns.
Why are you pointing at me?
The victim's crystal sphere was found near the bridge on the night of her murder. Yet you expect us to believe that it has nothing to do with this case. That crystal sphere, it was probably thrown away at the bridge after the murder.
After the murder?
There is blood on the crystal sphere, isn't there? This naturally suggests that it was thrown away after the murder took place. That's actually a good point. The killer placed it there to throw the investigation off the scent. Which is the exact same reason he drew that ridiculous sketch. Oh! Wait, are you suggesting he's the murderer?
What? You mean I'm the killer?
No! All joking aside, just when did this crystal sphere appear near the foot of the bridge? Unless this can be proven in some way, I refuse to believe is related to this case. Whose blood is it? The victims or the killers? I don't know. Both. I don't know. She makes a valid point. There is no evidence that Elise Donim left Hazakura Temple that night. However, if somehow this crystal sphere can be proven to have been dropped before the victim was killed, then this case is going to be transformed into something else entirely.
Your response, Mr. Edgeworth. I want your final opinion on the disposition of this crystal sphere. If it is not related to the case, then this witness, who you called, will have been nothing more than a monumental waste of time.
Prepare yourself for some very appropriate punishment, Miles Edgeworth. Can I prove it? Can I prove that the crystal sphere was dropped before the murder took place? I don't know. Can we prove it? Do we have anything that possibly proves that we can? I don't know that we do. I don't know that we have anything. What do we have? Oh, now the little ball's on our thing. Nice. Okay, okay. Exactly. If Elise hit her attacker with the staff trying to defend herself, then it's the killer's blood, which means they threw it away hoping not to be discovered. We again suspect Bikini hiding the wound under her hood. Ooh, I didn't think of that. That'd be smart. I mean, she claims that she doesn't take the snowmobile anymore because she's afraid, but that could be a lie. I don't know if we can prove anything, though. Oh. How do we prove it? I don't know how to prove it is the problem, because, like... I don't know. We don't exactly have like a picture that has it on there. You know what I mean? There's gotta be something. Because he says he found it half covered in snow near Dusky Bridge the night of the crime. That's what he claims. But that's not really enough of a... like a... aha, gotcha. So... I don't know. I mean... I'm gonna save. I don't think we can prove when it fell. But... we kind of have to... so I guess we're gonna have to bluff our way through it, and I don't know the best way to do that. So, how about no, it's impossible? No matter how I look at it, it's not possible. It is certainly strange that the crystal sphere was found near the bridge. But perhaps it is just a curveball from the killer. Well, well, Miles Edgeworth seems to have nothing further to say.
Then I am left with no choice.
Uh-oh.
Of course, there's no reason.
Okay, cool.
What is this? Hey, Edgy, you're a defense attorney, aren't you? If it was Nick standing where you are right now.
Maybe the half covered in snow? But we can't prove that. There's not, like, snow on it now.
If it was Nick, do you think he'd give up? No, he'd find the truth, no matter what it took. No matter how crazy it seemed.
I think we were supposed to do this.
Right. At this moment, I'm standing where you should be. Which means there's only one thing to do. Think like you. Your Honor, allow me to prove something to you. I will prove that this crystal sphere is a vital link to solving this case.
You will do what?
That look in your eyes. You remind me of Phoenix Wright when he is cornered.
No, but if it was half covered in snow, maybe that can prove the timing with the weather report.
Maybe. That should come as no surprise. Because right now, I am Phoenix Wright, and I am indeed cornered.
I think it wanted us to pick yes, and so it just kind of led us into picking yes.
I order you to present your evidence, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh.
Evidence that proves the crystal sphere was indeed dropped before the murder.
It's gotta be... yeah, it's gotta be the half covered in snow thing. Because otherwise it would not have snow on it.
This crystal sphere, it was half buried in the snow, correct? That's right. If it hadn't stopped snowing then, it would have been game over. The snow would have totally covered it. That's all I needed to hear from you, Larry.
But see, that's not proof though. That's just him saying it.
Your testimony makes one thing quite clear.
What?
When the crystal sphere was dropped, it was snowing, even if it was ever so slightly.
Snowing.
On the other hand, let us look at the scene of the murder. As proven earlier today, there is no snow on the victim's body.
Oh.
Therefore, the crystal sphere must have been dropped before the murder.
What?
That was not the thing. Not snowing.
But like...
Order, order, order!
Also, we gave her the wrong voice.
Oh.
But that's just him saying that's when he found it. How is that the proof? I know, but like, he said that it wasn't... that it was half buried in snow. He said that he saw that he said. It's literally just based on his testimony. So we have to take Larry at his word for this to be the decisive evidence.
On the night of the murder, the victim did indeed go to Dusky Bridge. And there, something occurred that caused the staff's crystal sphere to come loose.
What could that have been?
This sphere. There is some blood on it, isn't there? Allow me to raise a certain possibility at this junction. The real crime scene was near the foot of Dusky Bridge. The murder didn't take place in the Hazakura Temple courtyard? Only a fool would suggest such a foolish piece of absolute foolishness.
Just who is the fool? And which part is so foolish, Miss Von Karma? Have you been paying any attention this whole time, Miles Edgeworth? The sister saw everything. She saw the victim being killed by the defendant in the Hazakura Temple courtyard. That's not exactly true, now is it? To put it more precisely, what she saw was the murder weapon being removed from the victim's body. That's the same thing! No, it isn't! You said it yourself. Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. If that statement is the truth, then Dusky Bridge could very easily be the scene of the murder. The murder weapon was not removed, thus there was no bleeding. It's not how that works at all, but okay. You are forgetting one vital thing, Miles Edgeworth. Elise Donem's body was found near Hazakura Temple. On foot, it takes 15 minutes to travel from Dusky Bridge to Hazakura Temple. You mean to suggest that someone carried the body all that way? I've made it this far. The only place to take it is to the end. I just need to prove that my version of the events is also perfectly plausible.
Now, if the defense is ready, the court would like to have an explanation. Please show us the method by which the victim's body was carried to Hazakura Temple.
Use the snowmobile to move the body, hence the tracks on the back. That makes sense. But that would kind of imply that Iris moved the body, unless Sister Bikini moved the body and then stowed the key in Iris's room. Where's the picture with the snowmobile? There it is. On that snowy night, there is only one way that a body could have been moved. The snowmobile. Ah. As we know, the snowmobile was used that night. It was explained as having been used to dispose of the murder weapon, but it could have also been used to carry a body. That would certainly have messed up Sister Bikini's back too, having to haul a body into a courtyard. This is completely unacceptable, Miles Edgeworth. You've dug yourself into your own grave. What do you mean? The only one who could have used the snowmobile was the defendant. She's the one who moved the body. Doesn't that put the final nail in your coffin? You're too late, Francisco von Karma. And in fact, the defense has proven something else entirely. We have shown that this case requires further investigation. What? Where was the victim, Elise Donem, really killed? If her body was moved, whatever for? And finally, just what does this image mean? Do you even need to think about that? Such a creature could never see the truth, let alone describe it. This witness certainly sits on one of the lowest possible branches of humanity. However, he would never utter a lie that could hurt a girl with whom he is enamored. He drew this, so it is something that actually happened. The defense stands firm on this point.
Edgy, thank you. That settles it then. I cannot give a verdict under these circumstances.
Right. I seem to have fulfilled my part in this. It is just as I thought. Francisca von Karma, you make a wonderful partner. Excuse me. There was one reason and one alone for me being here. To expose the darkness lurking in this case, and then pass it on to right.
Really? That's what this was all about? You could have just told me that from the very beginning. Then I wouldn't have had Franzi whipping me all. Ouch!
Maybe that was just a flying hood. Whenever Bikini was hit over the head with a staff, her hood flew off and flew across the bridge. Oh. Maybe. Miles Edgeworth, I don't care about what you're here to do. This was my chance to finally grind you under my heel. A shame that your chance seems to have slipped you by. What a shame. Franzi! This is all your fault! Such a terrible witness. You're an arrogant fool! Oh, I demand satisfaction! Well, if he's not in love with her, I don't know what happened.
I cannot believe that the witness's testimony relates to an actual event. However, there has to be some sort of answer for the questions it raises. Have his words here today been the truth or lies?
True. He said he recognized Iris because of the hood exclusively. Maybe that was all he saw, the hood.
Next time we gather in this courtroom, those are the matters that shall be addressed. I am counting on thorough investigations by both the defense and the prosecution.
And with this, the rest is up to you, right?
Court is now adjourned.
To be continued. Oh, man. Okay, we have so many more questions. Who killed her is still up for debate. Now where she was killed is up for debate. I mean, yeah, if, like, her and Bikini struggled, and then Bikini got hit in the head, but she managed to, like, stab her in the back or something, and then put her on the snowmobile and drag her body back, because, oh my god, I killed her, I have to hide the body. I mean, that would do it. But, I mean, that would also imply that maybe Bikini's whole injured back thing is, like, a ruse, and, like she's faking it so that we don't know. As we've seen plenty of witnesses that were like these tiny frail things, and then whoa, suddenly they were actually this big buff person, or they stood up and they're like, yeah, I'm a normal person. There was no sign of a struggle in Elise's room, so the fight was somewhere else, for sure. Because there's like no blood in her room, we can't find the murder weapon anywhere. So unless the Shishito is the murder weapon, which doesn't seem very likely, I think Bikini hid it somewhere. It's entirely possible that she stabbed her and then just stashed the murder weapon. I mean, she had plenty of time before the cops got there. Bikini also mentions her back way too much, right? That would make the most sense, is that she's faking it so that we don't look into her, and that's why she's, like, hunched over and little and stuff. Or maybe her back hurts her because she twisted it moving the body. I mean, that could be it. But I think this whole, like, the missing murder weapon is the part that's kind of making it weird. Well, because the thing is, like, if she had taken it out of her by the bridge, there would be blood all the way back to the temple. So the idea is that she wasn't bleeding a whole lot until they got back to the temple. So unless it's, like, all soaked into her clothes, a la Steel Samurai case, because in the Steel Samurai case, of course, it all soaked into the outfit he was wearing and they threw it in the fire. It would be on the snowmobile. It would be just kind of everywhere. Because remember, she would have had to pose the body and then clean up everything. And of course, she would be assuming that Iris is in the other temple, because that's where she's supposed to be. So she would be assuming that, you know, she's got plenty of time to stash the body. She's got plenty of time to dispose of the knife, and her walking all the way there would cause footprints. So there's a lot of questions. Where is the murder weapon? And I mean, heck, maybe in the same way that it happened during the Very Big Surface, maybe she's hiding the murder weapon on her person. Or is that why Bikini used the sword to stop bleeding? No, I think she used the sword to, like, frame someone else. Because if it happened near the bridge, obviously the sword wouldn't have been there. I think she was counting on, you know, the everything to still be in place. I think she was counting on the snow to cover up her tracks with the snowmobile, and it didn't work. I don't think she was counting on the bridge burning down, obviously. So she's very lucky that Iris wasn't trapped on the other side of the bridge because it burned down. Because if Iris was trapped on the other side of the bridge, obviously she'd have nobody to blame except for maybe Phoenix Wright and maybe Larry. But I don't know. There's just a lot of questions in this one, and I'm not sure where it's going to go from here. So This has been really exciting, but I think I'm gonna call it here. I think I'm gonna save the rest, or the next part of it at least, for the next stream that we do. So we're gonna save it here. So we have so many questions. What the heck does that mean? Is it just the hood that he saw flying? Was it a person he saw flying? If so, how the heck did that happen? And also, why are there cables above the bridge? It's a suspension bridge, but it definitely sits above the gorge. So I don't know. And you're heading to work? Well, excellent timing then. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day at work, and I hope everybody else has a restful, relaxing rest of their evening. I hope you get a snack if you need it, and I hope you remember to hydrate because it is good for your brain and your body. I'll be back with some Polia tomorrow. There's supposed to be a major update, so hopefully it'll be working. If Polia is not working by the time we go live, then I'll probably end up playing our new game instead. If it is working, we'll play Polia, and then we'll play the new game, Mineko's Night Market, on Wednesday. So that's kind of the plan there, is if it's working, we'll play Polia tomorrow. If it's not working, I hope you do too, Anna. If it's not working, we'll play Mineko's Night Market. So either way, we'll be back on Thursday with more Coral Island, because that game has been a lot of fun, and I'm really interested to see what happens next with all of these mer people, and maybe get some more of the mines done, because we finally got to the point where we can get silver, so we're starting to upgrade our tools, so we're starting to work on more of the mer stuff. It's been a fun ride so far, and it's still just summer, which means we're making great headway. Anywho, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you all again real soon. Bye!